Hello children, in this video we are going to discuss nutrition in human beings. Children, have you ever thought what happens to our food once it enters in our body? Yes or no? Don't worry, we shall discuss this process here. From ingestion to addition. I think you must be aware of the words ingestion and addition. Ingestion is taking in of food and addition means removing waste out from the body. So this whole process from ingestion to addition, this process takes place in alimentary canal. This is alimentary canal. We call this alimentary canal as digestive system also. Digestive system. As we all know, that system is made up of organs. So what are the organs in our alimentary canal or the digestive system? Let's see it. Our alimentary canal extends from mouth to anus. Alimentary canal, the components of alimentary canal are mouth, we call it as buccal cavity. Next is esophagus, then stomach, small intestine, large intestine, anus. This is the alimentary canal. Along with these organs, there are two glands with it, pancreas and liver. Now what happens? The food first enters in buccal cavity. It is crushed into small, our food are big, large pieces. These large pieces are crushed into small pieces and mixed with saliva. What is it? Saliva. From where this saliva comes? This saliva is secreted by salivary glands. This saliva is secreted by salivary glands which is present in buccal cavity. Right? So this saliva mixes with the food and converts into a paste-like substance. This saliva contains an enzyme called salivary amylase. Salivary amylase. Salivary amylase is an enzyme. This enzyme acts on the starch part of food. Which part? Starch part of food, and converts into sugar partially. Now see here how this all functions. This saliva, our food contains starch. This starch converts into sugar and due to the action of salivary amylase. Due to the action of salivary amylase. Now it is very clear that in buccal cavity, starch converts to sugar by the action of salivary amylase. Here the partial digestion of starch takes place. Children, note it that the digestion starts right from the buccal cavity. From buccal cavity, the food enters into esophagus. Esophagus is a long tube, right? Esophagus is a long tube which starts from buccal cavity and ends up to stomach. In esophagus, the food moves in forward direction. Food moves in forward direction due to peristaltic movement. This is peristaltic movement. Once again, from buccal cavity, the food enters into esophagus. Right? Esophagus is a long tube which connects buccal cavity to stomach. Here it is only a passage where the food is passed up to stomach. Here only the forward movement takes place, and this is due to the peristaltic movement. Now, food reaches in stomach. It is the widest organ of our digestive system. Right? This organ expands when food enters into it, just like a balloon. As the food enters in the stomach, this organ starts expanding. The gastric glands present in the walls of stomach, like this. See, this is the gastric glands present on the walls of the stomach. They releases digestive juices. They release digestive juice. Okay. Along with it, Stomach releases three things. One is HCl, other is mucus, and the third one is enzyme pepsin. This is very important to learn that stomach releases HCl, mucus and pepsin. Along with it, the internal lining of the stomach releases some digestive juices. Now, what are the function of all these things? HCl. HCl creates acidic medium in stomach. Why? To facilitate the action of enzyme pepsin to work on, because pepsin enzyme works in acidic medium. So this is one function of HCl. Second function of HCl is that it kills the germs and bacteria so as to disinfectant our food. Now, what is the function of mucus? Mucus protects the inner lining of the stomach from the action of acid and pepsin, right? Till here the partial digestion takes place. Up to stomach the partial digestion takes place. The food in the stomach lives up to from 1 to 6 hours. 1 to 6 hours the food lives in stomach. The process, the churning of food continuously takes place in stomach, right? Now, what does this pepsin work? Pepsin acts on proteins, right? Pepsin acts on the protein component of our food. The partially digested food from stomach enters into small intestine. Small intestine is the longest organ of our digestive system. Its length is approximately 6 meter and its diameter is 2.5 to 3.5 centimeter. Right? It is highly condensed coil. It is highly condensed coil. Now see, herbivore animals have small intestine, whereas carnivores have long small intestine. And it is the site of complete digestion. Okay, complete digestion of food takes place in small intestine. How this complete digestion takes place? Now see what happens. This small intestine receives or the secretions of liver as well as pancreas. Okay. Liver secretes bile juice, whereas pancreas secretes pancreatic juice. And various gastric juices are secreted by small intestine. So this bile juice, pancreatic juice along with gastric juices helps in the digestion of food. Now, how these all work? Bile juice secreted by the liver makes medium alkaline. One thing, function of bile I am telling you. The bile juice secreted by liver makes the medium alkaline for pancreatic enzyme to act. Pancreatic juice contains pancreatic enzyme. These enzymes acts only in alkaline medium, because when food entered in the small intestine, that was the acidic medium. So that acidic medium was converted, that acidic medium is converted into alkaline medium due to bile juice, and these pancreatic enzymes work in that alkaline medium. Now, bile juice is helpful in one more function, that is it emulsify the fats. The fats in the small intestine in large globule forms. Those are to be converted into small globules. So this is called the emulsification of fat. What are those two functions? Bile juice emulsifies the fats and creates the alkaline medium for pancreatic enzymes to act on. Now see the function of pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice contains two enzymes, trypsin and lipase, right? Now what are the function of trypsin and lipase? Trypsin acts on proteins. Trypsin acts on proteins and lipase acts on emulsified fats, right? Emulsified fats. So the breakdown of protein is done by trypsin, and the breakdown of lipase is breakdown of fats is taken by the lipase. Now walls of small intestine, as I told you, they also secrete the various gastric enzymes. The complete digestion of all the components takes place in small intestine. So finally, all these digestive juices and enzymes convert proteins to amino acids, carbohydrate to glucose, fats to fatty acids and glycerol. Now we know that the complete digestion of food takes place in small intestine, and all those components converted finally. Now what happens to this digested food in small intestine? The inner lining of small intestine has finger-like projections called villi. These villi increases the surface area for the absorption of digested food, and these villi are also richly supplied with blood vessels. Now these blood vessels take the absorbed food, the digested food, these villi takes the digested food to each and every cell of the body, where it is utilized for obtaining energy, building up new tissues and repairing of old tissues. Now the undigested food finally moves to large intestine. The undigested food is sent to large intestine. This large intestine length is approximately 1.5 to 2 meters, and its diameter is nearly 4 to 6 centimeter. Due to its wide diameter, it is known as large intestine, though its length is less than small intestine. Some villi are present in small intestine also. These villi absorbs some water which is present in undigested food. Right? The villi absorbs the water from the undigested food, and the rest of the material is passed out from the body through anus, through the sphincter movement. So children, I hope this video will help you to understand the nutrition in human beings. This is all about this. So thank you.